right,
We
we
are
live.
live.
All right.
What's up, anarchist? How you doing?
I'm Chance,
No, I'm Sean.
and this is Anime Anarchy, and we are here to talk about My Hero Academia Vigilantes episodes
8, 9,
eight,
and 10.
yeah, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, so it's definitely had to binge a little bit this last time. Uh because we ended up streaming on a Sunday instead of a Monday. So we had 3 episodes to kind of catch up on rather than two. And
Yep.
let's just say that these 3 episodes were uh a little bit more exciting. And also we learned a lot more about kind of Koichi's mother. And what do you think about Koichi's mother?
So, I mean, she seems like a pretty stereotypical, like strict, traditional mother for the most part. I did think it was kind of funny that her quirk is just being able to like slap from far away, like
Yeah, it's
just
like
the mother slap.
it's like a stereotypical like Japanese family, like a traditional Japanese family where if you don't become a doctor or something like that in society, then you are like kind of a disappointment to your family name. And she just seems to be very like strict on certain things. And poor Koichi.
Yeah, she just wants him to be a healthy, productive member of society, and she knows that his head has always been like in the clouds, chasing dreams of wanting to be a hero, and she's always just wanted to kind of keep him, I guess, grounded to reality, is what she said. But
Yeah.
I did like that by the end of the episode. Hi, Reese. I did like that by the end of the episode, she had seemed to have come around a little bit. And kind of accepted Koichi for like what he's trying to do, and I guess started to believe in him a little bit more. And this is episode 9, by the way, when his mother shows up.
Yeah. So, I mean, she does get to. I think she really came around when she really got to see him in action. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because she knew about how when he was little he used to pick up trash and stuff for the community, just to help out.
yeah,
But she actually got to see him in action, which we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And figured out that Koichi's the crawler.
yeah. I mean that who his mom figured it out.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't even think she knows who the crawler is,
probably
probably
not.
because she doesn't live in the city.
That's true.
So she
That's
probably
true.
does. She just all she sees is just her son.
Yeah, that's why
Just
she said
playing
Koichi.
hero. Yeah,
and,
she
and he
probably
was
doesn't
like,
even know
"Mom."
that he does this here.
I mean, really, all he has is an all my hoodie on. How can that be a decent disguise? Oh, and
He has got a
he's
mask.
puts a yeah,
Yeah, he
but
puts a mask on.
still. He wears that All Might hoodie though everywhere he goes,
Yeah,
even when he's not doing vigilante work. So,
yeah, not a good disguise. That's what I was telling you yesterday. I really hope that he ditches the hoodie for an actual costume soon. Like, I don't want it to be at the end of the show when he, brings down the villains or whatever. Like, I want it to be like soon. Like, he needs an actual hero costume.
very true. I
So
mean,
does Pop Step.
even Pop Step is she's hurting for something a little bit different for her vigilante work than when she's doing performances.
Well, I'm saying she needs to wear something a bit more appropriate of her age.
That is true too. Yeah. And I will say that along those lines, the lizard guy, I forgot his name, part of like that original thug crew
Oh
that we
yeah.
saw. When they saw her, and he was like calling her a skank, and he was like, "Why don't you wear something a little less like revealing?"
Yeah.
But yeah. So we do get kind of more insight into Knuckleduster. We get to see a little bit of his personal life. We get to see through the veil there. And his wife. Yes, he has a wife. She's in the hospital.
And this is episode 10 he's talking about right now.
Yes. She's in the hospital, and we find out that it's because of Queen Bee. So, because of that, Knuckleduster has, really a personal vendetta against Queen Bee,
Yep.
and is like trying to track her down. Um, and it's just crazy, right? I
Well,
mean,
it's to the point though where they revealed in the episode that he's essentially manipulating Koichi and Popstep into helping him, because he wants them to be out there on the streets drawing attention to the villains. So they're kind of like his bait, like he's using them as bait to draw these villains out so that he can take them down.
yeah,
Which, up until now we thought he was just actually wanting to mentor these kids, and like they, just all had a similar goal in mind. But it turns out he's just
hey
manipulating
guys,
them. Oh, hey guys, how y'all doing?
Parker Woodley, and I'm Mean33.
Thanks for popping in. We appreciate
Thank you.
it. But yeah, so he's been manipulating them this whole time. Kind of using them for his personal vendetta, which they know nothing about right
Yeah.
now. Which I thought that was interesting. Definitely kind of hurts Knuckleduster's character,
Yes.
but we're doing good. Just getting into, we're talking about episodes 8, 9, and 10 of My Hero Vigilantes right now.
Yeah. We're doing fine. It's we got a lot to talk about today, so we're getting it done. So yeah, that Knuckleduster was one that I thought was like true, like a true hero. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
in the shadows, of course, because it doesn't have his hero's license. But when you find that out, it's like, it's kind of a hit on his character, and I'm hoping that they overcome this and he realizes like, hey, that was wrong. I do want to mentor these kids and this, that, and the other thing, but you don't know. Right now, he's really just thinking about his wife, and I understand. Uh,
yeah.
but there's doctors are saying there's no hope, and it's because of Queen Bee's fault. So, um, either way, let's go back to episode 8 here. We get to meet an American hero. I think the top American hero,
Uh,
Captain Celebrity.
yeah, I think they said, I don't know if he's actually their number one ranked hero
Or if he's
or if
just
he's
saying
just
that.
saying that,
Yeah,
but they did say that he is consistently ranked within the top 10 every year for a
that's true.
decade.
Yes.
So he is definitely among the top for sure.
And he's very full of himself. He reminds us of Homelander in The Boys.
Yeah, I'm thinking that due to all the scandals that we find out, he's probably not number one over there, and that's
Probably.
why he came to Japan.
Yeah, there's a lot of scandals. He's literally like a stereotypical celebrity, right?
Yeah,
He has
Captain Celebrity is
yeah,
his name.
he has a entourage with him. He has at the beginning he has cheerleaders
Yep.
and like they have tents set up CC for Captain Celebrity. They have
And there was
just photo ops and all that stuff.
during one incident where there was I think it was the kaiju was attacking, right? So there was a giant monster, kaiju like Godzilla
Yeah.
attacking the city, which he was a product of the uh what is the trigger? Did you
Oh
catch
yes,
that? Yeah,
yes,
yeah, because
yes.
his tongue was all
Mhm.
purple.
Yeah,
So he was created by Trigger. He had a gigantification quirk, and I guess it just turned him into a lizard kaiju also.
yeah.
But
Literally looked like Godzilla.
yeah, but basically, so Captain Celebrity shows up very quickly and sees Pop Step and Koichi trying to help people evacuate safely. And he straight up, when they ask him for help, he straight up was like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that yet. My team hasn't even set up yet. The media hasn't been alert.
Yeah,
Like, the media is not here. And I also haven't received an official request from the police, so I'm not getting paid.
right.
So he's like, so, I'm going to wait
Such a
for
dick.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the call came through like 30 seconds later. But,
yeah,
like, come on. Like, a real hero would be jumping
yeah.
in regardless. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were talking about, I think, in our last episode, is that so some of these, and you know what happened in real life, these heroes have huge ego,
Yep.
and they're only there for uh kind of being in the spotlight
Yep.
for monetary
Fame and money.
purposes. Yeah. And like I said, he does had he's very powerful though. His quirk is flight, but
Yeah.
he's also really, really strong too. So I don't think he can punch out a
I don't.
kaiju just from lifting weights in the
Yeah,
gym.
his quirk can't only
Right.
just be flight. I mean, he has to have like other stuff because he lifted a yacht that was sinking out of the ocean and like say like with
Right.
passengers and
Yeah.
everything like and it was giant. It might have even been a cruise ship, not a yacht. Yeah, like it might have been an actual like a big passenger liner.
Yeah.
Um, he knocked out the kaiju.
Right.
Uh,
Godzilla.
Yeah, and then so I mean, like, there's no way he doesn't have massive super strength.
Right.
Um,
But in this universe, you can only have one quirk at a time, unless you're in that
well, there's a
special-
lot of special
unless
cases.
you're in that. But yeah. Okay. So whatever.
Like lizard guy is a lizard, but then when he took trigger, he could also fly.
That is true. So do you think that Captain Celebrity has taken trigger?
No. No, I don't think Captain Celebrity has taken trigger. I think that I don't know. Either his power, okay, either he has more than just flight, or his power is flight, but to like compensate for all of that, his body has to just naturally be like adapt to being durable enough to withstand whatever like speed he's going so that he can survive whatever velocity hit he's doing. So maybe he is just hitting these things really hard and using the momentum of his flight and durability
Yeah, but you
to
would think
move
that would
things.
still crush you. You know, like if you just flew really hard into the, let's just say, in the side of
Yeah.
a building, you would
splattered. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
But we do get this, I guess, cool callback, or kind of we circled around because we found somebody that was part of his crew that we met last time, and that was it Makoto?
Yep.
And she is actually like his head PR person, really.
Yeah, she was doing like interviews about like her little research on the Vigilantes in in episode 7. Now she's working for Captain Celebrity.
Yeah, and so I guess that way she does get good insights into certain things, like peering back the curtain on the hero side.
Yeah,
but
she's trying to expose corruption in the hero world. Yeah,
right. And so she did get him in trouble a little bit. It was kind of funny because he was hitting on Makoto and saying that he's going to take her to like a special spot and this, that, and the other thing because he's a womanizer.
But he's married.
His wife was on the phone with Makoto, and she was like, "Hey, your wife wants to know about the special spot too."
Yep. Yeah, she was not playing around with that.
No, definitely not. I enjoy her. I'm glad she's part of this crew here now. But they kind of start. Captain Celebrity kind of takes somewhat of a liking to Koichi, and kind of works with him a little bit. I mean, kind of makes him do stuff that he doesn't want to do, really. But still, I mean, to him, Koichi's just a regular citizen.
Yeah. And I mean, he is,
yeah, I guess so.
Because I mean, he's not really, he's been in some fights, yeah, but like for the most part, most of the time when we see him out in the field doing stuff, he's helping with evacuation. He's not really Like, he's not fighting these villains. He's keeping people distracted and saving people until pros show up. You
Yeah.
know.
But it's after Captain Celebrity gets caught being a womanizer by his wife, they kind of figure, okay, well, we're in a different country. We don't need to be getting more scandals going on, and
Yeah, time to rebrand.
so they did rebrand, and they have, I guess, these is a group of middle schoolers who are like his new entourage instead of cheerleaders. These middle schoolers look like they're 30 years old, and they're
Yeah.
doing like like I don't know what you would call it, just
So
martial
kind of,
arts,
yeah, they're
kind of martial
doing,
arts, and like being like a, I guess, more of like a, what would you call them? Like a hype team rather than
yeah.
cheerleaders. And it's more masculine, and it's like, you can't get a scandal if you're surrounded by guys doing martial arts, you know, rather than like a bunch of cheerleaders with really short skirts and
Well, that I mean, but it's just in general they're trying to shift him more
Three's
to like
Company.
Japanese culture, you know,
Yeah,
to
that's
fit in more with
yeah.
the Japanese people. Because you know he Captain Celebrity may have worked, you know, for the most part for a while in the United States, but
Yeah.
Japanese culture is a bit differently. So for him to be as successful or more successful, like with no scandals, like you said, I think he really is going to need to kind of adapt to their culture.
Right. 100%. Sorry, Reese is trying his best to thwart our recording. Uh, he's
Yeah.
very hyped up right now. So it actually looks like that, and I'm reading this from episode 8. We watched this yesterday, and I'm already like a little fuzzy, but it looks like his mom first popped up uh, in episode 8.
Yeah, I told you that.
I thought you said episode 9, or
So
that's when he.
yeah,
That's when
she
okay,
because episode 9 started and she was already
yeah,
there, and then I told you I was like, you skipped the ending, which came after
right,
the credits, but she
yeah,
shows up at the end of episode 8.
yeah. So, and I thought this was going to go on longer than it did, but Makoto and Koichi, they had to pretend like they were dating
Yeah,
in
that went
front
on for
of
about 30
in
seconds
front of his mom, so that she
before.
would think that he's just a normal college student. But
Yeah, but she realized that he was lying about that pretty quickly, and then spent the whole rest of the episode trying to convince Makoto to go out with Koichi, though.
and marry him.
Yeah, marry him.
Yeah, she wanted her to be her daughter-in-law,
Yeah.
like, a lot. She said that I would trade you in for Koichi any day, which is kind of fucked up a little bit, but and Koichi heard it too.
Yeah.
Uh, but all right, let's go to. So I think quick shortly after that they were on the bus, right?
Yeah, so they were out. They were like, you know, I think they were like shopping and doing other stuff. You know, just going out on the town.
There was Makoto, uh, Koichi, and his mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were all out together. So they were all out together, and then that's when Queen Bee she dropped that cat on the bus, and then injected it with the trigger,
A cat,
and the
just a
cat,
house cat.
yeah, just a house cat, and so the cat, I don't understand. So his quirk was bus or something like so
It
it took
literally,
over the bus.
yeah, it turned into the
So
bus.
yeah, like the cat turned into the bus and then was just like driving around and was all scared because it's a cat and doesn't understand what's happening.
I'm
Uh
guessing she knew what quirk she was going to use on it. So,
like
like,
yeah,
she had a specialized version of the trigger with that quirk.
right.
Because it wasn't a person with a cat quirk, it was literally a house cat. And it
With a
fused,
bus quirk.
yeah, it fused into the bus. And then now the bus is a cat, but in the shape of a bus. And the cat also mutated a little bit, has like two tails and has like bigger teeth, and it's a little bit more agitated.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure, for sure.
and it was just, of course, driving like crazy then, because it was just a cat.
Yeah.
on wheels.
Knuckleduster saw it and was like, "Oh, this seems like it's uninteresting. I'm just gonna leave this to the pros."
Yeah.
But then he saw Koichi through the window of the bus and was like, "Ah,
Just like,
shit.
yeah.
Guess I have to go
Oh,
out
come
now."
on, kids.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just so freaking random. And so he found, or he calls up Pop Step,
Yep.
right? And then he has this idea. I mean, it was a brilliant idea if you think about
It
it.
worked.
He literally made this giant cat toy
Yep.
out of like a giant like rod and this. I guess it was kind of like a towel, like a white
Yeah.
towel at the tip, and they got in front of the cat bus or the bus cat, whatever you want to call it, and they were waving it around, and of course the cat was like freaking out, like trying to get it.
Yeah, so
Right?
they got it off of like the main roads and
Yeah,
stuff. So now it's on an abandoned highway where it's at least the only vehicle there
yeah.
to be endangered.
But it's abandoned because
Yeah. So in the last episode, when the kaiju was rampaging around the city, he walked through and destroyed a portion of the highway. So now
yeah,
it's closed to the public, and that's where they're driving right now. So eventually, down the road, they're going to completely just fall down,
yeah.
and everybody's going to
It's
die.
kind of like Spider-Man with the train. Uh, where he has
Yeah.
to
The
stop
train
the
scene,
train
yeah,
before it goes off the bridge.
yeah,
It's kind of like that. So now there's a time limit involved. I mean, sure, we got into like a safe space where it can't hurt anyone else, but oh no, the bridge is collapsed.
yeah,
Um, so this caught me off guard, and of course you had seen this episode before I did, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So we get to see a pro hero assisting,
yep.
and
Our boy in
one of our
our
favorites,
boy Ingenium.
Ingenium, yes. And of course, you couldn't have a better person for this one because maybe except for All Might, but because I mean, it's literally just going fast, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if All Might would have been a better choice for this, other than the fact that he can do like large jumps like the Hulk. So maybe he
Maybe
could
he
have
could
jumped
have like,
ahead
yeah,
and then caught it. Maybe.
maybe he could have like picked up the cat bus and
Yeah.
like,
But I'm wondering if all the jumping and like smashing that would happen from him doing those jumps to get ahead of it like would scare the cat bus and he would like skirt away. You
maybe.
know?
I don't know. But so Ingenium and his crew, because he has like of course, a crew with him in another bus. It's basically like a mobile headquarters.
Yeah.
They get all the people off the cat bus that they can,
Yep.
but of course they leave
Makoto gets stuck
Makoto.
behind.
The reason why, because Queen Bee injects the cat with more trigger.
Yeah, so it starts
like,
freaking him
goes
out.
batshit crazy.
Yeah, it was starting to calm down.
Yeah.
But
Then it was like a cat on steroids. If, you've ever seen a cat on, with zoomies? This was like that, except it was what, probably like 14,000 pounds.
yeah, something like that.
And on wheels. And Makoto was the only one that was on the bus, but of course she was literally about to die, right?
Yeah, and Ingenium at this point was chasing after the bus to save her, but he was running out of fuel. So Koichi, since he was the only one in the crowd that had a mobility quirk, Ingenium's team gave Koichi the juice that Ingenium uses to fuel up so that he could try and catch
Wasn't
up
it
to
like
him.
orange juice?
Yeah, or like
Orange.
V8,
Yeah.
something like, something like that, some kind of healthy juice. But he was able to catch up to Ingenium because he was slowing down, gave him the fuel, and then the two of them together did what they could to catch up to the bus. Koichi gets onto the bus, but
Yeah.
it was too late because the bus was flying off the interstate already.
But also because I think probably because even though Koichi has a mobility quirk, I don't know if they would have actually worked together like this if it wasn't for their prior engagement together. Them actually having a background, Koichi and Ingenium, with that little bit of training.
That's right, because he told Ingenium, they told me to help you out after I dropped off the fuel.
Right.
But did they? I don't even think they did. They tell him to help.
I think so.
So if
Or no, they were saying basically don't get in his way.
yeah, don't get in
Yeah,
his way.
don't get in his
I
way.
was like, I thought he was
Yeah,
lying
no,
to
you're right. You're
Ingenium
right.
so that he could still help
You're
out.
right.
And Ingenium was like, I think Ingenium knew that he was probably lying,
Yeah.
but was like, okay, because we have that prior
Yes.
relationship and
Yes.
I've helped train you,
Yes.
yes, we can work together,
Because he
but don't
does remember,
fight.
right?
Yeah,
Because he does remember it. Because he
right.
ends up saying like, "Let's not put your new brakes to the
Yeah,
test." You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
but yeah, Koichi's able to get in the bus. But what is it? It's too little, too late at that point.
Yeah, so Ingenium had burned up, even though he just refueled, he'd still burned up a lot of his energy, and
Yeah.
he could go all out, but only in one burst, so he'd have to make it count.
Yep.
So basically, Koichi grabbed Makoto, and at this point, his mask fell off while he was getting in the bus.
Yeah.
So now she knows that he's the crawler,
right. The crueler.
the crueler. So he grabs her, zips out of the bus, and is trying to grab onto Ingenium while he does his like Hail Mary,
Yeah.
all out burst to like up into
Basically
the
like
air
his
to catch
ultimate
them.
move.
Yeah, his ultimate jet stream or whatever. But they miss. Koichi doesn't get up quite far enough. But then,
Oh yeah,
this was
we,
sick.
We get to see a new power of Koichi's.
Yeah, or a new application of his
Yeah.
current power. So, like, turns out Koichi can actually fly. So he
Yep.
started putting out, the little like energy waves or whatever that
Um,
come out of his hands and feet whenever he's sliding and gliding on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, they still popped up on his feet, and he essentially like turned his feet into like jet boots almost, and was like flying up to Ingenium and caught onto him. So
which was sick.
yeah, that was sick.
Absolutely sick. But
And
then,
nobody believed him.
Yeah, nope, no, they did not. But apparently he had that ability since he was a baby.
Yeah.
You remember what his mom was saying? So basically, like he would fly around when he was an infant.
Yeah.
With like by shooting it out of his feet. But then I guess he just had forgotten about it. Maybe.
So yeah. So did you ever watch Umbrella Academy?
I watched a little bit of Umbrella Academy.
Did you finish like season 1?
I don't think so. I don't think I got that far.
That's crazy. Okay.
I have shiny object syndrome, so I mean, if something else looks cooler while I'm watching something else, then I just go to that next thing without finishing the first thing.
All right. Well, anyway, so I was gonna make a comparison, but anyway,
You could still make the comparison. I'm sure that some of the viewers have seen this.
yeah. So I mean, it's just like number 7, like she was the most powerful of anybody in the family, but because her dad was scared of her powers, continuously like drugged her to suppress her powers, and then like lied to her, like gaslit her into believing she didn't have powers. And so she goes like 20 years without using any powers because she doesn't think she has any. Kind of some similar to that. So Koichi is actually a lot more versatile in his power set than we ever thought he was, or that he ever thought he was. He just was beaten down and told not to do that so much as an infant and probably as a toddler, that he just, like you said, like he probably just did forget that he could do that because she stopped him so much.
And his mother's quirk, I just saw, and you might have already known this, is fly swatter. That's her quirk.
I didn't know it was fly swatter. I thought it was like smack your face, like, or something. Like,
yeah, fly swatter.
Backhanded slap. I don't know.
But yeah, so more people know that Koichi is the crawler now.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad about it. Right. I'm glad that Makoto knows about it because I think that she's pretty trustworthy. You know? And I think that she could help out a lot. And it also gives Koichi more points with her that he's a vigilante, or that he's applying these quirks that he has to help society. You know what I mean? And she seems to be very attuned to that. And that's what she kind of enjoys looking for and whatnot. So, Anyway, so that was kind of a random episode with the whole bus situation, but a lot of things came to light from that. Him having his new application for his ability, getting to see Ingenium again,
Yeah, it's always cool
and
seeing Ingenium.
Makoto finding out that he uh, is the crawler or the crueler, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So now that you're a little bit farther ahead in My Hero Academia, the original show, what does that give you any kind of different outlook or perspective for like OG Ingenium? Like, do you feel a little bit more about like what happened to him in the OG show now that you know him a little bit now from the past?
Yeah, I mean, I
Because
did.
he got did pretty dirty.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we knew about Ingenium prior to me getting to that episode where Stain basically fucked him up to where he couldn't
Yeah.
walk again.
Yeah.
So the hero killer, almost kills Ingenium, the main Ingenium, and the main series, and where he literally cannot walk again. I guess he's paralyzed from the waist down. And so he tells his little brother Tenya to take up his name. Don't let Ingenium die.
Yeah.
Since he can't walk anymore, it's now time to pass the torch to Tenya, and he's the new Ingenium, which is his younger brother.
Which is kind of crazy considering that he's not even like he's still a first year in high school. Like,
Yes, but you've seen how badass these first years are.
oh, for
Even the
sure.
teachers have said, I don't think we've ever seen a first year like this.
For sure.
Rarely do first years get their hero provisional licenses, and the majority of these first years got their provisional licenses. So it's crazy, but it does make sense because we do get this is in the main series. We get an episode where the ones who failed the provisional license test had to do another test for remedial, and this was kind of a random one, but they brought in like a class of like kindergartners, first graders, something like that, and Bakugo and Shoto and two others from another school. I forgot their names, but they basically had to, I guess, get these children who are very troublesome to, I guess, love them and interact with them and stuff like that, or respect them. Um, and these kids have very powerful quirks. We get to see that.
Yeah.
And one of the characters from that school that was just watching was talking to President Mike, and stating that it makes sense that their quirks are this powerful because of going down from generation to generation. You get more and more powerful and complex quirks.
Yeah, because especially since like quirk marriages are a thing,
Right.
people are, when two people with two different quirks have a kid, your kid is very likely to either have a version of both of their parents' quirks or some sort of hybrid, like new, like more powerful, like
Yeah.
new power.
Which is, I mean, quite interesting, but it makes a lot of sense. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that could also be the reason why these first years are like probably the most powerful that they've seen. It's just because of that whole generational thing.
Yeah.
But
So maybe by the time these kindergartners are applying to UA, they'll be the
yeah,
best
yeah,
first year.
exactly. So, but the way that Tenya is, I could see that his older brother being the same way. Very, very strict in what he does. Uh, I guess very rule abiding, right? Cares a lot about rules, the law, and just being like this, I don't know, perfect specimen, basically.
I don't know. I think the older Ingenium kind of gives me vibes like he's not quite as like uptight as Tenya is. Cause like he seems to have no issues working with the Vigilantes. He knows Koichi's secret identity and is training him and like
That's
hyping
true.
him up and like, supporting him in this rather than telling him that he shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Um which I don't know. I'm not saying Tenya wouldn't do, but I don't think he would be as so supportive of it. Like, for example, so Tenya for a short period of time was a vigilante when he was prowling the streets looking for Stain.
Oh, that is true.
When he was doing his internship,
Because he didn't have a
so
license.
it was under the guise of an internship, and he was doing his, oh, I'm supposed to just be observing and reporting, but on the low, he was looking for Stain to fight and kill him.
Which is the reason why he even took that agency.
Exactly. He went to that agency instead of his own family, because otherwise he would have gone to his family's.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he was kind of operating, even though he might not consider it. He was operating as a vigilante at that time.
That is true.
Yeah.
I guess they all were.
Yes, they did. They literally were. When because I'm pretty sure after the fact, I think Aizawa said didn't they have to lie about what happened and like how?
Yep.
Yeah, they had to lie about who stopped him and who saved everybody.
They didn't have anything to do with capturing the hero killer.
Exactly. Even though it was pretty much all them. Like,
something that right there also showed in both the shows that what they put out in the papers isn't necessarily the truth. There are still cover-ups.
Yeah.
And I guess that's to keep the public happy.
Yeah.
Also to
well, I think it's to keep that control.
The control, but also to keep the heroes in check, right?
Yeah.
And in certain heroes to keep them being a symbol, aka like All Might, to the people, rather than, and this is just an example, rather than just like doing something that maybe they weren't supposed to be doing, but they change the narrative, for the public. So, which I feel like again would happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? Because that happens all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
in our news.
Absolutely.
But all right, this is something that we have to talk about, and I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. And this is something very what am I looking for? Very icky.
Oh,
very
weird. The bee thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
I had kind of put that out of my mind, actually.
So I mean, all right. So Queen Bee, she has like her and like posse at school, like her two best friends.
Yeah.
That she always hangs out with, and yes, she's in high school.
Yeah.
And we didn't know this, but one of her friends is also like in on it, right?
Yep.
Distributing trigger with bees, and what was his name again? Shoga, the spike guy.
Yeah.
So he's looking for Queen Bee for like on behalf of Knuckleduster.
Yep.
But, we already talked about why. And so Shoga goes to the high school and is like asking around, and then one of her friends kind of slips away and is like whispering his name like from an alley, like, "Hey, why do you want to know where blah 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 is?" I forget her name, her actual name. Why do you want to know where Queen Bee is? She doesn't say that, but and then he comes into the alleyway to talk to her about it, and she how do I explain this? She
lifts up her skirt, and then a hive, like a colony or whatever, a swarm of bees comes out of her vagina.
Yeah.
Like, so Queen Bee, her like, I guess, hive or whatever is in her eye. They come in and out of her eye. Also gross, but like,
yeah, but
not
like
not the same.
Not like a Virginia.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So yes, we found out that she was in on it too. I don't know what her quirk is yet. She was kind of, the way that she was talking was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Maybe she can like do something with her body, like morph it or something.
So I'm thinking either her quirk is also bees, right? I'm thinking maybe her and Queen Bee had the same quirk, or yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mean. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But so I'm thinking they either had the same quirk, or her quirk is some sort of like like spatial dimension type thing, like a pocket dimension kind of thing,
Let's hope it
where
is.
they can just keep as many bees as you want up in there. It just unfortunately the pocket dimension is in your vagina.
Oh God.
So yeah, it's either that, it's either. Oh, so would you call that a pocket pussy?
Yeah, I guess so. Because she has a pocket dimension in her vagina.
Oh my
It'd
god.
be a pocket pussy. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh shit. So it's either pocket pussy, quirk, or bees.
Yeah.
That's my yes.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out next time. All right. But yeah, so that happened.
Yes, it did.
Another
Unfortunately.
thing happened. We get to see a little bit more of Queen Bee's personal life. And let me tell you, she is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, she is.
Holy shit. She comes home and it's dark and the TV is like it's on.
Yeah.
And she gets like a sandwich for a snack like she gets home from school or whatever. She sits beside her parents. And she's talking to them, but they're not talking back to her. And we come to find out that they're dead.
Yeah, they're just sitting there rotting on the
Yeah,
couch.
and they look like they've been dead for weeks or more.
Yeah.
And there's bees just crawling around on them. So she killed her parents.
Yeah.
And now is just kind of hanging out with them and living with them. And she's like, maybe I should move out. You
Yeah.
think so? You think you should move out?
And remember, this is a ninth grader.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she is a complete psychopath. Like, I am really interested in seeing how this ends for her. Like, is she just gonna get arrested or is she gonna get killed? Because
I don't know, man.
she is doing crazy things.
I mean, she probably, uh, she's working for one or all for one. So but she seems to be very critical within this whole distribution of
Which is
triggers.
crazy.
So yeah, it is
Because she's so young. Like, it's
but
crazy
maybe that's
how,
why he picked somebody
yeah,
like that.
nobody would suspect
Right,
her, you know.
exactly. And so I'm hoping that her, I guess, being a segue, we get to see All for One in this series. Um, and maybe have an episode or two of them actually like working together like face to face, or maybe seeing how they actually make the trigger rather than us seeing certain parts of it, like her getting blood from stain and from somebody, and then sending it somewhere, and then them making trigger out of it that we don't know exactly how, and then her just having the trigger with her and putting
Yeah.
it inside of her bees to distribute. I would like to see a little bit more of that process. I think it would probably be very
Yeah,
interesting.
I am just very interested in how they're even doing this. Like, I know it has to be related to All for One, but I don't know how
Yeah,
exactly.
because she has talked on the phone with him. We
Because his whole thing is like he can absorb quirks from other people, but he can also transfer quirks to other people. So
Yeah,
he could take your quirk and give it to me. You know, even if I'm quirkless, or if I have another quirk, now I have two quirks. You
right.
know,
Yeah,
so like you all. So I mean, I guess like the trigger is definitely a much more convenient way of like distributing these powers that they're, I guess, collecting or creating. I'm not sure,
yeah.
but it is interesting. Like, I want to know how they're making this. Like, is it like based in like his DNA, or is it completely unrelated to him? You know?
Yeah, and imagine if they get a trigger that is made from One for All.
I
You know
wonder
what
if
I
he could
mean?
even do that.
I I don't know, because in the main series they do get some of Deku's blood. The League of Villains, the little girl that has a quirk where she can drink blood and turn into whoever she drink blood from.
Yeah.
Well, she has Deku's, and I don't know exactly what
Does she
for.
copy their quirks as well,
Uh,
or just their like form?
I think just their form.
Okay.
Um, but she's been collecting blood, and they've been working for Shigaraki Shigar. What's his name again?
Shigaraki. Yeah.
Shigaraki. Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
Have you gotten far enough in My Hero yet where you have you learned like the origin of One for All?
Yeah, came from All for One.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the original inheritor was his brother.
yeah,
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 okay.
exactly. Which I mean, kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
right? It's like a
Yeah,
Cain and
kind of a
Abel
fitting.
situation.
Yeah, like yin and yang,
Yeah,
light side and dark
there's got to
side.
be
It's got to be
balance.
balanced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't.
Well,
But I don't know. Now that we're the same spot as, well, we're pretty much the same spot for the main series. I think we're both gonna watch it. See how it is.
yeah. Yeah, we got so right now I'm at the very beginning of season 4 now, and I got so 4 5 6. So we got 4 seasons left
Which is crazy.
currently where we are. So you probably have about 3.5 seasons
It's
left.
crazy to me because so much has already happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so the once things kick off and the once like the war starts, the war is going to be a solid like 2 seasons,
That's
if
crazy,
not
dude.
longer. Yeah.
That's got to be like the longest in anime.
And then on top of that, we still have the vigilante arc in My Hero, which I don't think we've gotten to yet.
No,
And then there's also My Villain Academia, where it follows the villains.
really,
Yes,
that's a thing.
that's a thing. Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, so
Cool.
we got a lot to cover. So we got a lot coming still before we get to the war.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know when the next season's gonna come out?
Not off the top of my head, and we're probably gonna have to call time soon because I'm gonna have to get moving to the
Yeah,
job
yeah,
thing.
we got
But
a tight schedule today.
let me see.
But
My Hero.
yeah, a new season's supposed to come out.
Yeah,
My Hero.
season 8. This is gonna be the series finale also.
So shit's gonna get crazy because it's already crazy. I'm only halfway through
So it's scheduled to premiere in October of this year.
October. Yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna be a crazy year.
Yeah.
So so as that's coming out, we'll talk about that. Of course, we need to get to that point before that comes out.
Yeah.
We'll continue talking about vigilantes. I think that'll be the main focus until the season ends.
At least until some of our other shows start coming out too. I don't know how long the season's going to be. If it's going to be because sometimes my hero is sometimes a 12 or 24 episode season. So like I don't know how long this is going to be.
Yeah.
If it's because we're on 10 now, so if it's 12, it'll be almost over. But if
Yeah.
it's 24, we still got a while.
And I still feel like not a tremendous amount has happened, so there may be 24 episodes.
Yeah,
But either way, and then you get caught up on JJK. We need to get caught up on Fire Force,
yeah.
which I haven't watched in a while. And
And then remember and keep this in mind: Kaiju number 8, and I believe Don Don return in July.
Kaiju number 8. Yeah.
Yep, yep,
See?
yep. Got your Kafka shirt on. Let me see. Let me see when Don Don comes out. So
I thought they were both like around July, right?
yeah. So it just
July.
says July. It doesn't say the date. Um. All right.
But
So
either
let me
way,
see.
next month we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So these episodes may be a little bit longer. We'll see. Depends on time, since we both have full-time jobs. So
Yeah, and then with my schedule, since I'm starting a new job, my schedule will be a little bit different. So I don't know how that's going to change the recording schedule. If it's going to make it harder or hopefully easier.
yeah, or we may just have to do it on the evenings or on the weekends.
Yeah,
Uh,
which
which is fine
yeah,
too.
we can still do
Yeah,
because Natalie can come over with us too. And
but thank you for hanging out with us today. I know we are cutting it a little bit short. We usually do over an hour, but like I said, adult things.
oh well, Don the Don's coming very soon, July 3rd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about to get hectic.
So get ready for that. Don Don is going to be an interesting talk for sure.
Oh, I can't wait until season
Yeah.
2
If
comes
you want to
out.
go back to our Don Don episodes, I don't think those are on YouTube because we did those before YouTube. But you can
Yeah,
look
we
on
were
like
on
Spotify, and Apple
Spotify,
Music, and Amazon Music, all that stuff.
iHeartRadio,
Yeah,
even. Yeah.
all the things. So yeah, we appreciate you, and we will talk to you next time.
Yep, and don't forget, if you watch this and you want to see more of this, give us a follow. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, pretty much everywhere else.
All right. Thank you
All right,
guys.
thank you guys.